Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Connected Series, a venture by Frames Alumni Association. I'm Meenal Tiwari and today we have with us Ms. Shruti Gandhi. Starting with a brief introduction of our guest speaker for today, Ms. Shruti Gandhi completed her bachelor's in computer science engineering from FCRIT in the year 2014 and then pursued her master's in the same field from the US. She worked as a software development engineer at MathWorks and later at GoDaddy in the span of the next 3 years, post which she decided to move to India and explore entrepreneurship. She went on to build a sports fitness marketplace called Rookie Deck, which they sold and exited. She's currently studying decentralized and blockchain space. So you started your career working for companies like GoDaddy and MathWorks, and now you're an entrepreneur. So what motivated you to leave a secure job in the corporate sector and take the risky challenge of starting your own company, Rookie Deck?
I think I moved always with the intent that I would come back. I basically went there to definitely learn and study what's happening new in the tech space. Also, the larger goal was to broaden my vision and learn all that you learn when you live alone. The plan was always to come back. I was always entrepreneurial, and the decision was very calculated. In fact, I decided this is the amount of time I'm going to give myself. And when I had the kind of savings that made me secure, I think I made the leap. I decided to come back.
So how did you go about building the startup, like from the base? And from your experience, could you break down the term entrepreneurship for the viewers?
Yeah, so I think entrepreneurs are just a bunch of absolutely crazy people who just dare to dream slightly bigger than they're supposed to. They go behind things that they're usually not supposed to, and you get turned down a lot, but you still got to do it. You still got to do what floats your heart, right? So the story behind Rookie Deck was, when I was in the US as well, we had seen how much sports and fitness, the awareness for that had increased. And when I used to come back to India during the winter break, there was, I used to go to cafes and I started spotting people wearing athleisure to cafes, etc. So you could definitely see there was a shift in trends in awareness. Also, my co-founder, he was heading marketing at another firm called Fraternity. So we thought there was awareness in your gym space, etc. There was not enough awareness in the equipment space. So we were trying to build out a platform that was content driven for helping our customers make the right choice for their purchases, for their equipments. So when you're just bootstrapping, we built out a marketplace. We did not hold any inventory. We were just listing products, and we used to list content for that. We just started off as an affiliate platform from Amazon, Flipkart. Eventually we moved on. We were able to find some vendors who were ready to work with us. They could see the value that we could add to their business. By the time we closed those vendors, I think COVID hit and non-essential e-commerce suddenly stopped. So that was a massive blow for us, because now what do? Then we've pivoted on to building content and trying to create profile. So that was pretty great boost, because our content it drove up content creation for us, and we were able to democratize that. Building an e-com business in India is tricky, because there's a lot of issues that you face as with your delivery partners, with vendors, with shipment, with customers. Pleasing customers has to be a priority. And while we were able to we're going to close our next fundraise, then bam, there was a wave number 2. So then we pivoted to indoor sports. We were able to do a lot of sales there. And as trends progressed in the monsoon, we had more of indoor and stuff like that. But we could see that overall as a business, honestly, it would be a while before the sports and fitness sector, came back to its full potential. But towards August, I think we were lucky enough to find a buyer, honestly speaking. And I think by September, we were able to close the sale and exit.
What were some of the major challenges that you faced during the entire process of building up your startup, as well as some of the key learnings that you learned? And what advice would you like to give to the students who also wish to explore entrepreneurship?
So I think the first thing that me or any other founder would definitely tell you is to hire right. Invest a lot of time in finding the right talent for your company. It's never a business plan that usually fails. It's the people or the executive team that does not get the job done. So make sure you're able to collect a great set of people who have the same passion, vision as you. The other thing is have a vision, be stubborn on your vision, but don't be so stubborn on how to get there. So you have to be flexible with what you build and how you go forth. Be flexible with your product. Don't wait for perfection. Design small MVPs, pivot quickly, be agile, and your market, your customers will give you great feedback. Take that and progress. The third thing that I also learned the hard way, I think halfway through my journey, was to be very, very mindful of finances. Get into the habit of maintaining your hisab. Your hisab is what is going to take you ahead, and make sure that you don't get into unnecessary costs, expenses. Understand cash flows. I would say take a basic finance course before you start, but just try to find 5 to 10 people organically who will love your product or service and who are willing to pay for that, right? And then the channels that you've used to find those 5 to 10 people, just grow on that, rinse and repeat, right? So I think that would be a far greater way. Networking is key. So make sure you build a fantastic network. You have no idea how much people in this ecosystem are ready to help you out. Hit people up. If you're building something, hey, hit me up. I'll be glad to connect you with whomever you need to in the investment space, other founders, etc. If I have a connection, I'll definitely help anybody, out. As a female entrepreneur, you kind of have to learn to ignore the sexism, okay? The sexism does exist. It does exist in the boardrooms. It does exist in your vendor meetings. It's going to be there. You can't be pissed off because of that. You have to learn to work around that. And you can change things when you have the authority, eventual authority and power to change things. But till then, be smart about it and learn to work around it. So that's one very crucial thing.
So it's seen that any startup has a maximum stable period of mostly 5 years, and after which it is bought up by big shark companies, and very few of them make it on their own, like Paytm. So what do you think is going wrong, and or is it an ideal situation? So could you please share some insights?
It is up to a founder. Like if you feel bootstrapping your business and building it out is the way to go, then that's what it is for you. But if you feel you've taken the business up to a certain point beyond which let's say your value add is limited, but if somebody else is able to acquire you and grow it further, their value add is far greater, then that's a business decision that you have to make. Also, that said and done, there is a Thrasio business model that's now come in. So it's a US startup basically that used to buy successful third-party Amazon sellers and then scale the brands globally. So that concept does exist. I don't know why it is so frowned upon. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's just a business decision. It's up to the founders.
So you're currently studying blockchain and decentralization, right? So why a sudden shift towards that?
Now I want to get back into tech, and honestly, I feel the ethos of decentralization is pretty crazy. I love it. I love what the promise it holds, the beautiful things we can build in a decentralized world. So because I relate so much with that ethos and I've been studying about it, we're building something in stealth currently. But that said, I love meeting people who love to talk about blockchain, decentralization, give any sort of help, whatever. So even if you guys, want to know anything, please feel free to hit me up. I'd love to help out or, talk to, have a great discussion and play devil's advocate as well with whomever needs to. So yeah, I'm very excited about this space.
And lastly, what message would you like to give to the students of FCRIT?
Devote a large part of your college time to making great relationships, fantastic friends, because honestly speaking, tough times lie ahead and it is hard, especially life of an entrepreneur is also very lonely. It is hard. And at some times there are not things you can tell parents, and your friends are the ones who will pick you up. Bade achhe dost banao. On the performance front, I would say get some work-ex in if possible, during your summers or winters. This is one thing that in hindsight I wish I had done. I just spent my time doing nothing essentially. So if you can get some experience, be a great value add at a smaller startup or something. Don't necessarily have to work for money. Invest your time in learning, because the compounding effect of that is pretty great. So I think, yeah, that's all I got.